I greet all revelers of this day of the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. From Asia to Europe, North to South America, the concept of global poverty is a stumbling block that almost presents a danger to the living souls of our ambitious planet. Not to be left in the subject, I, Africa, the great starver of the world, I would like to assure you that the world has set up a continental initiative aimed at terminating economic poverty forever. The objectives adduced on this day for the celebration of International Day for the Eradication of Poverty by global leaders and political elites for the bad perception about poverty has been eloquently articulated by superior intellectuals like Thomas Malthus, an English economist and demographer who gave economic view about poverty. Although he was bad at math, however, he turned out to be a prophetic critique of the belief that history tends toward human improvement, which in general we call economic progress. Ladies and gentlemen, as we face an accelerating global economic crisis about poverty, let me remind you that poverty is not a witchcraft. It is a failure in economic system. It may be time to revisit the pessimistic idea that we live in a world with limits. World poverty has been an issue for hundreds of years, and it is still an issue up to this day. Today, as an international organization of global community, we are working together to combat many of the solutions to poverty. At the Tebeila Institute, Encyclopedia of Philosophy, we also pioneered that poverty is the mother of all diseases like HIV, TB, diarrhea, malaria, kwashiorkor, and other malnutritional diseases. As we consider taking down this enemy of belly, it is important to remember this: we can eliminate poverty. We encourage every government around the world to adopt mass production to plow and produce in large quantities to feed the world in order to beat poverty. Millions of civilians die from hunger in countries like Sudan, Somalia, Ethiopia, Burundi, Central African Republic, Afghanistan, Syria, Eritrea, Democratic Republic of Congo, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and many more African countries that are characterized by poverty. However, such economic factors are preventable. At the Tebeila Institute, Encyclopedia of Philosophy, we aim to educate the world to ensure basic health, support subsistence farming programs, and prevent too much nomadism to the youth of the world. In Sudan, we have determined scientific observation that extreme drought is withering every family's crop, leaving each family with just one meal a day. The topographical landscape of Sudan in general is not arable. That is why it is difficult to drive out poverty in such barren lands. We do also encourage poor people to have less children because we understand that poverty is the sister of natality angle of problems. Compatriots, the world is faced with the big elephant as the common problem, which together we can outlast this firm giant. Yes, it is indeed platitude that generally in countries with weak production economy, they often experience food security regardless of what economic policy measures they adopt, because poverty is not from political policies. It is from low economic production, which inside it there is cardinal pillar of factor of production, which is land. Coming to understand things clearly and distinctly, many European developed countries has prompted to consider production as a fundamental principle of farming, because the focus of life is to cultivate and improve by all means agricultural techniques. Fellow world citizens, a call to protect food security is a profound idea to maintain external and internal equilibrium resource to reduce poverty impact tremendously on the global scale. On this important day, we realize that where there is no farmers, there is no food and there is no future. It is exactly where poverty prefers to dwell. Dear people, we echo the call to shield agricultural prospects from sick policies that put threat to bear poverty. The world is very concerned about the broader agricultural implications. Everyone is cautious of incompetent agricultural markets across the globe. But we must also realize that this can't be achieved on an empty stomach. We must continue to focus on our own local food production to decouple poverty. Another important issue relevant to the war against poverty is the conduct of our governmental fiscal policy by our ruling parties and our political objectors at our varied global countries we belong. Ladies and gentlemen, the grip of poverty is very hard to escape. However, we should find a dual solution to mitigation of poverty. I thank you.